Good evening, and welcome to The Voice Behind the Artist. I thank you for showing up tonight. I thank you for being here. Tonight, this is done in conjunction with Juneteenth Speaks, and because Juneteenth Speaks this year was not held in the park, we decided to do a virtual aspect, and part of that virtual showing is The Voice Behind the Artist. And that I'm with Obsidian Arts Collective, and my name is Frangina Johnson. So I thank you for being with us this evening. This evening is going to be really exciting, and I'm getting ready to tell you right now. Once we get started, you need to press click and share. I'm like those people that have their own little television show. Click and share, because people are going to want to see this, because it is so controversial that you really need to hear this man who is doing this work, and the work that he's doing. People get an idea of negativity, because we have to understand that all the time when we are living our lives, that things happen that we do not anticipate. Hence the climate that we're in right now of racial injustices. And so I want to read a little bit about this artist. His name is Monroe A Bryant, and he has lived his life that substantiates the name of his production company, A Fearless Brother Project. That's the name of his company. But to structure a company, one's life according to such positive and philosophic rhetoric, one must be willing to submit themselves to the integral molding that comes during the formative years, says Monroe. This is what he did, and it would eventually lead him to discover his passion. The year was 1976. In East New York, Brooklyn welcomed the arrival of Aki. Like many young men, he found his solace in a culture that could describe the plight of urban living and related experience of him and his friends. This culture was called hip hop. But sometimes there was something different about him and his ability to exercise the content of his own interests and desires. This young photographer, producer, videographer, further complementing his position as an up-and-coming force in the industry today, Aki owns and operates a Fearless Brother Project from Grand Rapids, Michigan, a base production house that specializes in the development and creation of music, videos, cinematic work, photography for local artists and actors. And I would like to welcome Mr. O'Brien, Monroe Aki O'Brien.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. You know I love you.
Thank you for having me. I love you too.
So I don't even know where to get started at, but tell us about the things that I left out in your bio about how you got to the point of where you are now and to be able to win the art prize.
Everybody got a story. I say, like, from Brooklyn to like me going to college at Norfolk State University. I had a good time there. I didn't pass it, but I had a really good time at Norfolk State University. I went back to Brooklyn, tried to get my life together. You know what I'm saying? I had a life-changing experience when I almost died. Got stabbed in the shoulders, and that was a life-changing experience, the best lesson I ever had in my life. When I finally moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, I was trying to find out who I was as a person, and because I never knew who I was as an artist as of yet, but I always knew I wanted to help people out. So I ended up going to Grand Rapids Community College. I got my associates, and then I went into the police academy, where I learned about forensics and when I learned about detective work. I failed it twice by 3 points to the actual MCOS, the Michigan Correctional Law Enforcement test. So then my life was like, oh my God, my life is over. But when one door closes, another door opens. And it was this guy that was a videographer at GRTV, Community Media Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I said, man, I always wanted to do like documentaries and music videos and stuff. And I took a love to it and fell in love with that art of capturing Black lives, telling people's stories, and just getting into that type of work. Then one day, you know, I heard this phrase, like how amazing photography is, where you could just capture an image and you're capturing time. So I just invested into like a camera. Me and my wife, you know, so she helped me invest into a camera. And then I really fell in love with that art in that particular medium. So I started taking pictures. Once I started taking pictures, I was starting to feel a void. I didn't know that this was my purpose yet. And then I met this artist named Paul Collins out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, international known artist, bad man, rebel. He was fighting against Jim Crow with his artwork. I met him. He dropped the jewels in my head, and it snapped to say, you know what? I want to do that. But I was still waiting for the signs to tell me that it was time for me to start doing it. So unfortunately, there was like 9 murders that was unsolved for a minute in the city of Grand Rapids in 2012 and 13. And some of them was reaching close to home because I knew some of the family members that suffered the loss. And it was heartbreaking. So I utilized my tool as a weapon to help find certain people. I utilized my tool to help bring a halt to crime by developing pop-up shops. One of them was at a boxing gym, and I would just have random people walk through, and they would see these images, and they actually thought it was real because it was so well put together. And I just utilized the forensic skills that I got from being at the police academy and added on to my cinematic eye and then photography as well. And then combined, it came out with a series that eventually it was entered in the international competition called Art Prize. And I actually won 2D juror the first time going in.
Wow, that is just amazing. And that is like, a very in-depth journey into going to, because I know you haven't even arrived yet. You just like at the beginning stages of it, but that is really good way of letting people know that it's not easy. And sometimes, and so sometimes when you are trying to figure out who you are and you just don't know, that journey that you just expressed says, wow, I didn't know, but then all of a sudden something just pops for you and then it goes, okay, this is it. So once you did that and you won the art prize the first time going in, was it then that you said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Nah, because like when I did it, it wasn't for art prize. It wasn't for no competition. It was actually for just raising awareness to the to my Black community, because it seemed like we wasn't caring about anything, and I wanted to bring a level of empathy, you know what I'm saying, within the community, and word of mouth, so people could come see these images, and hopefully we could all sit back and talk and have public speakers. I will speak about each chapter, and after each chapter, I'll have somebody doing like public speaking. More than likely like activists. Shout out to Robert Muhammad, rest in peace, Robert Muhammad. And different musicians. It was just different mediums in the pop-up shops that we had. So people were just amazed, like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists in the city, you know? And then I met up with a couple of photographers. They told me that I was doing a great job, that I should have a gallery. Then I met up with the Gram, and they wanted me to be there. But it was never about, you know what I'm saying, the fame and the fortune. It was just about the organics of trying to help my people out with my images, if that answered your question.
Yeah, somewhat. And so when you say you were trying to help your people, you were using your art for a political process or for more of an awareness? When you were showing your work, what is it that you wanted them to see as a way that you were helping them see something that they really wasn't looking at?
Yeah, when they saw the images, they was like, "What the heck?" They didn't say "What the heck," you know.
Right.
And they looked at it and it stopped them, because like I learned what they say, like the story, like if you're not creating media, media is creating you. So I was responsible for the tool that I have, that I was given, and it was given from God, you know what I'm saying, to look out and find the different satellites to put everything together to make the masterpiece. But I wanted to, like, you know, I wanted the message to be hit hard. I wanted them to relate to the images that was happening. Like, you know, they just don't look at it as murder. Like, if you knew somebody that was murdered, hopefully it touched you to the point where you'll start reacting and responding properly in the situation in your community, you know? Because it was so many times that, you know what I'm saying, Black will look at each other and they will hate each other, but be comfortable around other cultures, you know what I'm saying? And I found that like psychologically and conditionally damagedly wrong. So it's like I just wanted to show what it really looks like if you don't see it. So basically trying to snap, like I wanted the viewers to like snap out of their frequency when they saw the images. And then when it came on a grand scale, being in the international competition, I mean, I was there for like 8 hours a day, just giving the message to all these people. And people were literally crying. People were literally crying. A lot of white people was like, man, what do I do? What can I do to help? You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot.
So that's what's needed right now.
Mm-hmm.
That they need to cry again, because for it to be a global pandemic about racial injustices, and I believe your work signifies all of that in ways that people do not want to look at. They don't want to face the real truth of what's happening. They want to cover it up. They want to bury it. So with that, I want you to start showing your work. And the first piece that you're going to show is
let's look at the piece Sunday. That's my piece right there. It's called Sunday. Okay, so
tell
like
us about this piece.
So imagine like with this whole racial turmoil that's happening right now, white supremacists, people just spewing racism, Trump spewing racism, seeing the situation happen with George Floyd, Philando Castile, and the many others. That was a few from many others prior to that. You know what I mean? Imagine like a person that's in an interracial relationship, what they have to go through and how they need to explain to their children. So like this piece is called Sunday. Is an acronym. It means study the underlying narratives and dimensional allegories and energies. So like I start off with saying like, what is love? Love is like air. Love is like you can't feel it, you can't see it. I mean, you can't touch it, you can't see it, but you can feel it, and you know that it exists. So when a Black person or a white person see each other, they say like, he or she is the one. That's not coming from a third dimensional level. That's coming from an internal level. That's coming from God. So who are we to tell you who to love? You know. So, but and you know that it's in the right place. So I understand when I hear interracial people saying, I don't see color when I see this person because I see something else. I understand that concept. But on the third dimensional concept, there's a lot of history that goes beyond it. And
That's right.
so it's like, you know, it's a decision that needs to be made once you enter into that particular realm. You know what I mean? So Hendrik, can you zoom into the glass area and the spoon?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you zoom in a little more? Okay.
Okay, as you see, to your right, on your right hand side, where the Black male is holding the spoon, you'll see a Black woman on the spoon. You'll see like a Black male in a goblet glass with a white woman, and then a white guy in the other spoon. So the way I'm thinking is like everything is like interdimensional, but everything could be right? So the Black man is trying to reach to the Black woman, the Black woman is trying to reach to the Black man, but they're in a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Because conditionally in history, we're like all right now, we're like all broken pieces trying to mend each other together. We can't even figure each other out. We can't even figure out our true love language. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, you'll see like Black males, you know what I'm saying, find the comfort into a white woman due to like, you know what I'm saying, the dynamics of what is considered beauty according to the Caucasian standard, or maybe classism brought them together. But you know, it's different dimensions as to why that's happening. And then you see the white woman, she's trying to reach up and try to get equality to her white male, but he's not focused on that because he's never going to let you, you know what I'm saying, allow you to get the equality because he's focused on a Black woman, you know? So then you expand, can you expand it out more, please? Okay, so that level, you have the male that appears to be a conscious brother, a Muslim brother, a Pan-Africanist brother, and he's dating a white female. The question that during the time when I made that piece is, can you be a Pan-Africanist brother and have a white female on your side? You know what I mean? And some people say yes, and some people say no. So I started realizing that it was a turmoil or argument or debate that happens when it comes to interracial relationship when you're making a choice of being in an interracial relationship. But then you got to think about the history of the white male. I mean, even doing slavery, being stripped of your culture and being raped on a tree in front of your wife and your children, your grandparents, and coming back and try to be a man. And it's hard because you just got stripped of your manhood. And, you know, that comes to this phrase from, like, you know, don't you bring a white girl in my house to, I can't have a nigga in my, nigga to ruin our bloodline, you know? So even though that was happening all the time, and stuff like that was interracial or mixed breeding and everything. So then, but then you go to the point where the Lovings, the Lovings was fighting for in the Supreme Court for interracial marriages. And even when they got that, when they won it, people still was in disagreement of that situation. And so you have that particular level. So you go, can you expand to the whole picture, please? Thank you. So now, to your left, you always, like, you know what I'm saying, when I grew up, I see the black man with a white woman, you know what I'm saying? But he's looking at the guy that's proposing to the black queen right there. And he's in frustration because he's like, what are you doing trying to marry my woman? But yeah, he got a white girl on the side. So there's a contradiction in between that. But then the black woman is left alone and stuff like that. And she's looking at all of them and said, but what about the history of Emmett Till? Emmett Till was a 12-year-old child that was brutally murdered, tongue put out his mouth and everything like that, because allegedly, which ended up being a lie, he whistled at a white woman. And I guess that was like frowned upon. Well, it was definitely frowned upon back in the days. But it was so interesting about Emmett Till because his mother didn't want people to hide his face, how he was the way he was looking. So he had an open casket, which started the civil rights movement. So all these things are coming with the history of just being an interracial relationship, because you don't even know if the family will accept you. You don't know how would you even explain to the child with all the turmoil that's going on right now? How do you explain that to your child? That's it.
Wow, that picture, because initially when you look at that picture, you just, oh, there's just two people sitting there having lunch or dinner or whatever, and some people walking by in the window. But to break it down the way you did, so is this picture a painting, or is it a collage, or is it painting and stage photography? How did you do this picture?
Yeah, I collided all the images together with different images, set up at all different places. And I mean, and Stafford Smith helped me edit it. You know what I'm saying, to make it make me sense the way I wanted to look like it.
Wow. So what technique do you use to make something like this happen? So if, like, say the interracial couple the picture was taken in one place, and then the guy, the Muslim guy, and then the woman holding Emmett Till's picture, and then the people sitting at the table. So those were 4 different places, but it looks like it's all one place.
It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 different imagery in one picture.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, he made it right. He made it exactly how I wanted to get made. Now I know how to do it myself. At the time, I was like, man, how am I gonna get this done? You know what I'm saying? On time before our prize. But we got it done.
Excellent. So what's the next picture you would like to show us?
Let's look at the images that let's look at that image right there. That's from my series called A Walk in the Park in America. That's my follow-up series from the award-winning series. This is chapter 1 called A Walk in the Park in America.
Can you zoom in that a little bit more, Henry? Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is based on I read this book back in the days called From Niggas to Gods, and one of the chapters talked about the similarities between dogs and black people. So just like a female puppy, when they have its litter, the first thing you do is you take away the puppy for the litter, and you place them in a new environment, and you condition it to be cute, cuddly, non-aggressive, submissive, anything to appease the master's comfortability. When the dog start acting like his natural self, maybe marking his territory or tearing up a sneaker, he's deemed disobedient. Whereas he's taken outside, taking away his resources, locked up and chained up until the dog realized that master have control over his life, and then they know how to act towards master because he doesn't want that abuse again. So just like, say African people, we was taken from Africa, the continental, and placed in the diaspora of America, and we were stripped of our culture. We was conditioned to be cute, cuddly, non-aggressive, always submissive to the master convenience, even though they was going through hell to go through that. And to the point where, we'll see each other, we'll hate each other because we are trained to hate each other, just like dogs are trained to hate each other as well. They'll bark at each other as well. So yeah, that's what the image was basically based about. Crazy about this image though is the fact that we shot this outside open in the park, and people were walking in this park and nobody blinked an eye to the fact that there was a guy with a leash on his neck.
So the park that you was in, were most of the people in that park white, Caucasian,
Yeah, they was white.
non-melanated?
They were white. There was some black people there too, and they was walking by, and I guess it was an elephant in the room. Nobody noticed it, or nobody cared. Nobody wanted to address it. Nobody felt that they didn't know how to respond, so they just kept on walking. They didn't stop.
That's amazing. Now, so let me ask you a question. Who are the three men?
Al Breedy to the right, Jonathan Stryker to the left, Lewis James in the middle, and of course I shot the picture.
So you know these people?
These are all my friends.
Wow. So when you staged this particular picture and they were posing for it, it didn't seem awkward to them, or did it seem like, yeah, this is the way it is? Did they have any feedback about the picture itself?
Yeah, they was fucked up by it. I'm sorry. I mean, can I curse? I'm sorry, but they was messed up by it.
Well, be you. I want you to do you.
Yeah, they was messed up by it. I literally cried shooting that picture. I was in tears because it was like I was putting my people back in a horrible situation, because they were witness to my first series that we'll be looking at a little later, but they wasn't cool. They wasn't cool with the images like that. They just know that it had to be done, and it was like, yo, we have to be accountable and show their own people that this is what it looks like.
So how did you get them?
That's basically what a walk in the park is about. It's about showing what black people look like in America, and how we are viewed in America. This is what racism looks like.
So how did you get them to be so comfortable and relaxed? Like, I do this every day. Because this is what this picture looks like.
They some good actors. I put it to you like that.
Wow.
I mean, I had to tell them, like, yo, just be calm. I say, hey, I need you to be calm and relax. Like, this is like a normal day. This is like your dog on you. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh. Ooh. So when you look at this picture, I know for me, it's like, are you kidding me? But your explanation says the truth. And that's exactly, this picture here is so dynamic in the sense of truth that Black men don't even see that that's how they're being treated within our society.
Right.
Wow. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay. Okay, this is chapter 2. This is called America Fabric Torn. This is part of the A Walk in the Park in America series. Like I said, with all the racial tension that's happening in the world, imagine what a biracial child goes through in this dynamic. Like, they're human too, and they have to make decisions, you know what I'm saying, quick, as to who they want to choose, and they just want to be. I have friends that I said some blackity black stuff to, you know what I'm saying, and I was like, man, my bad, I forgot you're white too, you know. So a lot of people, like, you know what I'm saying, they already because of the concept of if you have an ounce of black blood in you, you're considered black. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with that terminology because they have a black and white mother, or they have a black mother and a white father. You know what I'm saying? Like they're actually two different DNAs that's battling from family to family. Like, you know, just imagine if this situation happened, how do you explain to your child what racism is? You know what I mean? How do you educate your child about American history, not just black history, not just white history, but American history? And a lot of parents, like, you know, saying they don't even try to have the conversations between themselves. You know, they rather not deal with those situations. They just want to deal with the strength of love. And then the child is there stuck and trying to make a decision. You know what I mean? They're blank canvas and they're getting hit with all these different types of negative information, you know what I mean, and positive information. And sometimes they identify as black and sometimes they identify as white. But I can never really truly explain what they go through. I just imagine.
So in this picture here, I get the toss because, you know, in Minnesota there are a lot of mixed relationships and there are a lot of biracial children. One of the things I have noticed is that the child is usually raised by the mom, and the mom is usually a non-melanated person. And so the grandparents are non-melanated, the uncles, the cousins, everybody's non-melanated, and they feel comfortable because, you know, they're surrounded by the people that love them. And it's not until they get older, maybe around junior high school, and somebody calls them the N-word, or they come home crying, or somebody says, you know, get away from me, you blackie, or whatever the case may be, and says to them, what are they talking about? That the mother has to figure out, how do I explain to my child what's going on? And I don't think till this day that they explain it right, because a lot of biracial children here are really messed up. I mean, mentally, because they're saying, I'm coming from two different worlds, as opposed to allowing themselves to be embraced by the spiritual side that's within them to help them understand the outside of who they are. And so with that, I want to say, what made you do the blood thing with coming from the neck? Because it looks like somebody's neck is being cut.
Yeah, well, there's other pieces to there's other images to the series, and it basically shows like the girl actually dead, but who fault is that? Because you're tuggling the culture, you know what I'm saying? You're tuggling the beauty of the two, you know what I'm saying? And you're trying to extract the blackness, you're trying to extract the whiteness out of her. So she's struggling to get it off because she just want to be, you know what I'm saying? And she don't know how to be because she feels that she needs to be allegiance to somebody. And she just want to love her. She just want her parents to love her. You know what I mean? But just imagine like if the parents love each other, but then you have the parents on the white family that's actually racist. You know what I'm saying? How they gonna treat her? Or you got the black family that say, you know what, she too pretty, she too bougie, or she too white to be in our family. Like people actually go through that, and this is just like random stuff that I'm saying. I don't know how that exists. I don't know what they go through. You know what I'm saying? I've heard stories, but I could never relate because I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? But I know that it has to be an issue, especially right now, seeing that. You know what I mean? And I think it's amazing right now that even with the pandemic, we was in a pandemic of the COVID situation, what we still going through. People trying to make it forget, we still going through that. That we had time to like sit back in our prisons and learn about ourselves. So when we saw the George Floyd situation, our awareness was very open. So that's why the whole world is seeing what they're seeing right now, because they didn't see it before. And, you know, a lot of people would deny the images that I showed, but I showed this like probably 3 years ago, you know, 2 years ago, 17 years, yeah, 3 years ago. These images out in art prize and stuff like that. And a lot of people looked at it, they was waving like they were seeing demons. They didn't want to see it. Young girls had questions. The young white girls had questions. The white mother didn't want to answer it. So she's yanking them away from the images, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of things that happen, you know, when it comes, because nobody wanted to see these images. But now with this whole Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the many people that's getting lynched right now, people are actually seeing. So that's a good thing.
That's really interesting because we as Black people, as Americans that are of African descent, we have been mixing the blood since we've been here, since we arrived on the land. We have had children by, you know, with marriages between the Indians, marriages between the Indians and the white folks, marriages between the white folks and the Black folks. So it goes way, 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 way back. And so for it to be such an issue, but we survived all of that. So then you have the color issue. Well, she's light skinned and she's dark skinned and she's caramel colored skin. But it's been going on for a long time. It's just, and the things that are attributed to it, for instance, I was telling one of the other artists the other day that when Sally Jefferson was, when Thomas Jefferson was having babies with Sally Jefferson, and she literally had to prepare her daughters to please their father. In a sexual manner. So people kind of shrug that off like that. Then it happened. She's like, well, I'm getting you prepared to go on a trip with him. She wouldn't even say, Dad, I'm getting ready to prepare you on a trip to go with him. And you need to be nice. You need to be nice to him. I just like, and so that is more commonplace today because we hear about it, men having sex with their children. And so we as Black people have been going through it a long time, and now non-melanated women having children with Black men, you know, it's a lot to it, and this is really deep. And I think you need to be able to.
I wanted to cover in my next series. I really wanted to cover pedophilia because a lot of times it's happening within the family. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I wanted to, I mean, it's a hard subject to talk about. It's even harder to like even have children in the same room as, you know what I'm saying, an adult in that type of situation. So I don't know how I'm going to tackle that, but that needs to be tackled because there's a lot of people that has like, they just walking around, they ready to scream and because nobody's hearing them. You know what I'm saying? And they've been keeping secrets for like, you know what I'm saying, for many years.
Decades.
Yeah, they've been sexual. Yeah, for sexual abuse.
Yes.
And it's like it doesn't just happen in our community. It happens in a lot of people's community. But a lot of people, if they could see it in anybody's community, they could just say, you know what, your word. You know what I'm saying? Finally, somebody speaking for me. So I wanted to speak. I wanted to speak for the voiceless. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shit that's going on that, you know what I'm saying, that nobody wants to talk about. They try to brush it off, you know what I mean? Nah, you can't brush that off. These are frequencies that's happening to this day as we speak, like right now, you know? And it's like, you know, a lot of times they're afraid to like show these images. I mean, I had people talk about, yo, you need to get a lawyer because they're gonna come after you. I'm like, you know what, fuck them. You know, I just can't see the logic of not getting these images out because it didn't come from me. I didn't do this. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is coming from that connection. This ain't come from just me. That came from a connection. So that was my duty.
Well, we all have to look at the dark side, and we really don't want to. Even on a cloudy day, they want people to think that the sun is shining. So let's go to the next one that you have because your work is so intense. I just love looking at it. You know, I can understand why your company is called the Fearless Project because you're being fearless about the truth. What's the next one?
You got to have a fearless vision to create a perfect project. That's a slogan. Like that, and let's tell them a story. Those two slogans are part of the Fearless Brother Project. That's the code. But this is chapter 3 from A Walk in the Park in America. It's called "You Know Pretty, Let Me Fix," and it talks about the capitalistic ways of the Asian culture and how they capitalizing off of Black beauty. In America, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though it was adored, it was always like, you know, saying portrayed as ugly during the Jim Crow era and prior to that. And white beauty was like the pinnacle of excellence when it comes to like to European standards. They named us some different things like pickaninny, mammies, uncles, and pappies, and buckwheats, and you know what I'm saying, the Farinas, and that was all like dealing with Jim Crow era. And when it comes to like the Black beauty, they also had like different artifacts like Willie Lynch's How to Make a Slave, where they was comparing black versus dark versus light skinned people, male versus woman, young versus old. So it's always like they always at each other's back and stuff like that. Also had an artist that explained to me about the paper bag test that back in the days, if you didn't meet the color of a paper bag, at least you wasn't able to get employment to get into nightclubs or even into restaurants. So like just those type of conditionings that's happening in our culture. I mean, even with the sister that developed the hot comb and making the hair thin and flat and try to make it closer to white women as well, so they can be accepted as beauty. Those different dynamics, stuff like that, eventually was the culture was taken by, to me, the Asian culture. Whereas they were saying, you know, pretty, let me fix your hair. Let me give you horsehair to put in your hair. You know, pretty, let me fix your eyebrows. Even though you have eyebrows, let me fix your eyebrows. Your eyebrows not pretty enough. You know, pretty, let me fix your nails. Even though you have nails, but let me put all these crazy things on your nails and stuff like that, and you breathe all this chemical while I got my face covered up. And it's just deframing the beauty that a Black woman have. Like their hair is unique. Like Black women hair is the only hair that that literally stands up against gravity, you know, and it's not appreciated. It's a very unique texture, and is being disrespected through music videos to, like, you know, just what you see on TV as a strong Black woman. You know what I'm saying? You never really see their hair because it's considered a threat, especially in the corporate world, you know? So it was like, you know, I just wanted to show how there's been like if you look in the hair care industry, like, well, in Grand Rapids anyway, and I believe in a whole bunch of, it's just $1 billion industry that they capitalizing on us, and especially when it comes to Black women's beauty.
Well, how do you? Well, this could be another talk somewhere down the road, but
Okay.
a lot of that has to do with women feeling the need to look a certain way because most men want them to look like that. It's very rare that you find a man who'll say, you know, you look good just the way you are, or
That's facts.
I like your hair in a natural style, or if you don't like it and you got patches in your head and you want to go bald, go ahead and go bald. I'm not gonna stop loving you because of that. But
Right.
most men do.
Well, that was from, it's from the imagery that you see on television or in magazines, and they make them look a certain way. So like we're being told that this is beauty. You know what I'm saying? And we forget that we are able to like look at beauty in your own rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's much more than the Nicki Minaj's to the Meg Thee Stallions that's considered beauty. You know what I'm saying? Like more anything, you looking at the booty and not the beauty. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Or
true.
the beauty to go to the beauty, because this is what the imagery that they're showing. Like I said, if you're not creating media, media is creating you. So like
Absolutely.
when I did women, when I shot women, I was always looking for like a role that they can play. So I didn't shot women that was like samurais to ninjas, um, to assassins. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes balance and make it like a masculine role. You know what I mean? But just to show them they could be whatever they want to be. You know, because I didn't want to just always have, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have shot, like, you know what I'm saying, foreign arts as well, but that wasn't what I want my daughter to see. You know what I'm saying? And I got 2 daughters, and I want them to see strength, because the Black woman is like is the strongest being on the planet.
So these women in that picture, this picture that you're showing, you
Mm-hmm.
knew those women too?
Yeah, I know. Those are my Asian friends. Yeah.
Wow. And so how did you get them to, um, again, have the look where it's like, come on, I need to make you pretty. I need to, let me do your nails. Let me do your eyebrows. You look ugly. When I get through with you, you look pretty. How did you get them to have, that look is just like, it's almost like the commercial. Have you seen that commercial where, or I think it's on a little video or something, and she's doing her nail and she says, "Wait a minute, this nail is crooked." And then the Asian woman looks at the nail and she goes, "Oh no, that's your finger. It looked like that, but it's not true. The nail was really crooked." So, how do you get the authenticity in the imagery that you're doing? I mean, do you really talk to them, or somewhere deep inside you say, "Well, pull it out of you from within"?
Yeah. I take a deep breath before I even say these things, first of all, because I don't know if they're going to flip or snap or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do that. I mean, a lot of people deny it being in my imagery, you know, because these are tough topics, you know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely with the Asians, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're actually from, they're actually Laotian, Fatima Fatima and Jane, and then you got Ariana, which is the black sister, and yeah, I mean they're speaking up and bringing awareness to an Asian culture, you know what I'm saying, and that's frowned upon a lot of times when you speak up and you're being in the image and stuff like that, and especially in this particular fashion. Because I've watched Asian coaches pass by, like when I was in divorce, and I watched them pass by. They would look and they took off. They ain't stayed there for the explanation. Some was bold enough to listen. Like the younger ones, they was there to listen. You know what I mean? But the older ones, they left. They wasn't even gonna try to entertain that conversation. So it's
Wow.
like, yeah, it takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I was just telling them, like, yeah, pull her hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Act like, you know what I'm saying, you're struggling. Because I was trying to figure out how do I explain this, especially with the theme, like, you know what I'm saying, showing black people as dogs. Like, how do I do that? So I thought about it. I went to like a dog grooming place and I went and observed what they have there. And then I based it off of that.
Wow. So you really researched this. And that's another thing that people don't realize, that artists, they just don't come up with something. They research it. Whatever it may be, they research it so that when they get ready to do their own creative expression, they actually have a similarity or a
Yeah,
close.
something wrong with your microphone. I can't hear you.
Is it really? Let me see. Let me try this. Is this better? Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yep.
perfect.
Perfect. Okay, good. So
Yep.
where you have some sort of a similarity or closeness to the truth, but the truth and how you see it, and even though it's a rich, deep truth, because most truths, when people capture the image, it's superficial. So it takes a lot to be able to go and and then to be friends afterwards.
Oh
You
yeah,
could say, okay,
we're
did I
very
do
close.
okay, Monroe?
We're very close.
That's good.
Yeah, we're very
Wow.
close, man. Like we shared something, you know what I'm saying? We had a mission and we executed it perfectly. It affected the people. People listened, you know what I'm saying? And we're close still to this day. We're family.
Okay, I want to say something, but I'm gonna wait till the end. I'm gonna wait till the end of So can we see the next picture that you have? Because it's getting better and better and more intense and so surprise us again with the next
Okay.
picture. Yes.
Yep, he did. And this is called Corner Store Boys. This is on the final chapter of A Walk in the Park in America. It's a single image because most of my imagery each chapter had multiple image, but chapter 4 only had one image, and it's based off the Arabic culture capitalizing in the Black community and selling things at convenience and making millions of dollars off of our culture and never bringing it back into our community. I mean, you know, conveniently giving us drugs and different types of poison just to kill us and cause us to act, cause us to be mentally disturbed from the content that we're taking and ready to attack each other. As you see, the two pit bulls on the bottom level, which one of them is me, actually, which was crazy because I never knew what a leash felt like on my neck until it was pulled. And now I feel so sorry for dogs when I look at them now. Cause I'm like, wow, like, you know, so this is what dogs actually go through. This is what a slave actually went through. This is nowhere what a slave actually went through. But dogs go through this regular basis. This, I mean, we don't even know the true nature of a dog. And we're out there aggressively at each other where we could have been dogs from the same litter. We have no idea. And then, you know what I'm saying, the Arabic culture, you see them holding the chain and stuff like that. The chain represents the slave mentality that we have that's tied to what they're capitalizing on. And then you see like the cops in the background ready to shoot because they don't care because they're in fear of the Black man anyway. Because they're not properly trained in culture. You know what I'm saying? They're RoboCops. They like Neo from the Matrix. They have a lot of power by the will of their voice, and when questioned, they if they can't register it properly, they react in the fashion that they normally do.
Wow, RoboCops. You know, that's exactly what we have today. It's like they don't even.
Oh, you're on mute, Fredgina.
They just act. They just act on what it is, and they have no. They don't even care. They don't care if it's a Black young boy, 12 years old, 10 years old, if it's a young man, if it's an older man, if it's a senior citizen. They just don't care. And you're right, they're like RoboCops. It's almost like they're on drugs. Like maybe they take something before they come out and get in the car and
well,
then.
let me give you an aspect. Like I was in I did a ride along with an officer because I was in the academy.
You did what?
I did a ride
Say
along with. I did a ride
okay,
along.
a ride along. Okay.
Yeah, with the officer, and it was like we was going up a spiral alley, parkway, going up the top of Fulton Street, and it was crazy. It was like the Matrix. It was literally like the Matrix. Like I saw everything totally different because I saw it from a perspective of a police officer, and you see everything. I mean, you see everything, and you'll see fear. And as soon as we got out of there, a guy ran up on the curb and stuff. And we pulled him over. He had a whole bunch of liquor bottles in his trunk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it was so much stuff that was going on in that perspective. And imagine having like I said, that the will of your voice to like stop, freeze, don't move, and people have to comply to your words. Imagine walking around with a bulletproof vest just to protect you, but you're able to shoot because you have a gun. Now dig, if you will, a picture if that person is actually racist. Dig, if you will, a picture if that person is a narcissist. Dig, if you will, if he is actually a punk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like these different people are some of the people that exist in the force. I'm not saying all the people that's in law enforcement are bad. You know what I mean? Like they really believe that they're, you know what I'm saying, doing the right thing. But look at Batman. Is Batman really doing the right thing? When Batman was out on TV, he was just beating the crap out of people. You know what I'm saying? Kidnapping children. You know what I'm saying? And taking them as their own, or orphans, taking them as their own, and believe that he was doing the right thing. You know, the only reason why they didn't shoot Batman because Batman had everything else is black except his face, his chin. So that's why they didn't shoot him, because they know there was one of them.
Wow. Okay, what's the next
I'm
one?
sorry.
Oh no, you don't have to apologize. I mean, I could talk to you for like the next 2 hours. And so because people, as much as they wake up in the morning and see the sun, they don't understand that sometimes when you see the sun, you really looking at the moon, because you're ready to walk into a level of darkness in order to provide for your family and yourself in the day. And
Right.
and they don't get that. They don't get that. Oh, it's the sun is out. It's beautiful. No, it's dark out here. It's very dark out here. So the truth
Right.
needs to come about. And even, I don't care how many times, there has to be a new way. And because of your work and what you're doing, it allows people to see the bare naked truth. So let's get to the next picture, because as we go on, it's going to get juicier. It's going to get more intense. It's going to become more controversial, but it is the truth. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, this one right here, it was part of my series called Realist Neglects. This was part of, I believe, because I haven't pulled these. I just pulled these pictures out.
I mean, can you just zoom in a little bit closer so people can really see this picture? Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I just pulled these pictures out. I haven't pulled these pictures out since 2015. So it's crazy that, you know what I mean, I pulled them out. I'm just looking at them. I'm trying, like, transcending, like, what exactly happened in this dance. It was in a dance studio, in the basement of a dance studio that we did this shot.
Flash shot?
Huh?
Is this a true story?
No, this is not based off a true story. This is just imagine, you know what I'm saying, what crime looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like when you don't know where your family member is at and stuff like that, and he's somewhere trapped in the basement being brutally murdered, you know? And you don't know who did it. Because it was, like I said, it was based off the 2012 and 13 murders of Grand Rapids. And during that time, from 12 to 13, because it was like late 12, early 13, it was 9 murders that happened. And it was like the cops was clueless of who did the killing. We didn't know if it was a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? It took a while before they actually, people started like speaking, or, you know what I'm saying? It took a minute. Some of it made national news. And yeah, so that's what the question marks on the hoods represented, because we're doing the roles of the Klansmen by killing each other. And I wanted people to know, like, yo, we killing each other, man. We on the brink of extinction if we keep going like this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to see this. I need you to know that this is what it looks like. Do you want your family member to go through that? Do you know where your children are? You know what I'm saying? What are your children involved in? What decision are they making in life? You know what I'm saying? Are they getting the proper information in the decision that they're making in life? You know? Did you get the proper information to give your child the information to make the right decisions? You know? We all play a role. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, the Black family is split up systematically, you know what I'm saying? Or the guys is not doing their job because they just want to be like this, or emotions, they can't understand that children needs their parents. And when you break that family up, these kids start rebelling, you know what I'm saying? Or if they live on with their grandparents because the parents are really doing nothing to help them evolve, you know what I'm saying? Then it's a bridge in the gap. So it's like, you know, if you're not getting love, they're looking for love in all the wrong places, and the streets got it, you know? So it's like we have to like show them what's not in the streets. If you keep what's in the streets, if you keep on going the road that you were going, because like with me, I was going in the wrong direction when I got stabbed. It was the reason why I got stabbed, and it was all my fault, you know. And like I said, like, you know, because I kept bringing negative hells into my life until it became one big hell. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't want nobody to go through that again and be in a situation. So I had to show people that situation. So the guy that's dead on the left hand, on left screen, the guy that's dead, that's actually my brother-in-law.
Wow. Oh, you mean it's not, because the picture looks so real, but that's your brother-in-law who set in that position in order for you to take the picture.
Yeah, I told him, I said, yeah, I want you to act dead. I want you to really, I really want you to encompass what it is to be dead, like the moment that you just died. So he just put some blood on his face and some fake blood on his face, and he just killed over, and he stayed in that position for a minute, and we got the shot right.
Wow.
Let's go to the next
Let's
picture.
go. Yeah, let's go to the next picture.
Okay.
Okay, zoom
So
in.
like
Zoom
I
in.
said,
Zoom in.
yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh man. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Real quick, because I'm about to get out of here in a minute. I gotta pick up my daughter.
Okay. Let's go to the
So
next picture.
no. I can explain it real quick. This is based off of the human trafficking that was happening in the city. Like Grand Rapids is like the number 3 worst place for human trafficking, and nobody saw it. Like it was like gentrification was going hard, the monopoly just expanding the neighborhoods and everything like that. So it was seemed like it was real comfortable. Grand Rapids like the place to live. You know what I'm saying? And it was ironic that Minneapolis and Grand Rapids were going through the same process at the same time. You know what I'm saying? We was actually competing against which city was the worst area to have where Black people can actually make it in the city. And we was like, 'cause when I went there and I met you for the first time, and y'all was telling me that, I'm like, that's crazy because we was number 2 during that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who's telling the real story? You know what I mean? But how
Yeah,
these
that's
two
true, but
cities go through the same thing at the same time. You
at
know
the
what I
same
mean? And
time. And it's still
right,
very,
so
very,
like,
go ahead.
yeah, same, ain't nothing changed, right? But human trafficking was like so crazy, and I know people that actually was trafficked. Well, I know people that knew people that was trafficked, and I heard stories. So I wanted to tell their story as well, you know?
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Oh yeah, and this girl, her name is Jamila Miles. She lives in Florida now, man. Good friend, man. She was gagged up and tied up for like 5.5 hours as we were shooting the whole scene.
So what is that thing that the sisters have? What is that?
Well, it was duct tape over her mouth, and the guy was like chopping up the scissors off her, the duct tape off her mouth.
Oh, okay.
So she wanted to know what a
You
victim
had
felt
you
like.
had her duct tape for 5 hours in order to do this picture?
Yeah, it was a 5 hour shoot. She was in there for 2.5 hours. My bad. It
Okay.
was a 5 hour shoot, but she was in that position for 2.5 hours because it was other scenes that was going along with that scene that we shot, and that was based off of 2 teenagers trying to be incorrigible, and she was the one that actually knew drug dealers, and the drug dealer met up with her, and they end up setting them up to get kidnapped, and then it was a story, the photographic story of actually what happened to them. So of course, like, you know what I'm saying, it didn't end well.
So she wasn't one of the people. She was just
No,
one of
she
the
wasn't
people.
one. She was not. It wasn't based on the true story. It was a story made up.
Okay. Next one.
Let's go to the next one. Yep. Okay, this is based off a true story. I won't mention her name because I don't want to open any more wounds. But it was a situation
Okay,
in
so
12. Can you hear me?
zoom in a little bit more. This is not an actual live picture. This is a stage picture again.
That is correct.
Okay, okay,
That is correct. But it was based off a true story. Um,
okay.
there was a gang beef that happened, and I guess one of the gang members got arrested, and he made a threat, say, you know what, whoever I'm gonna get whoever gets who opens your door, they're gonna be dead. So, and that's just not verbatim, but that was the message that was made. And kind of found out his child, his mother, his baby mother, I mean his child's mother, opened the door, and she got shot right in the face in front of her 2-year-old child.
Wow.
So you see how it's low canted the way I have it. That's the vision of the 2-year-old child looking and seeing her mother's death
Wow.
in their assailant. Because imagine because nobody talks about what happened to that 2-year-old child. Like,
No, traumatized.
traumatized. Like, nobody. I don't even know if therapy was even given. the news never followed up. They would show the news. They would show the news for sensationalism, but they would never follow up with the story about that situation. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, that child got to be like 7, 8, 9 years old now. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, it was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 years. 7 years old.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
This is the same situation. She opened the door. She tried to run for her life, and he was chasing her with the gun. So that's the same story.
Okay. Next one.
Okay, so this is part of a chapter called the Black Holocaust. It was very hard to look at. It was actually denied at the Grand Rapids Art Museum because it was like, hey, no lynching, no lynching. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. So like, because only 14 actually made it to Art Prize, when it was actually like probably like 75 images total. You know, and this is showing how we're lynching ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a big unspoken thing about even with the Black Lives Matter movement and how they're fighting and racial injustice with the police system and everything like that. But I don't see Black Lives Matters in our neighborhoods protesting against us killing each other. How Chicago kill each other on a regular basis. I don't see Black Lives Matters out there just like rushing, you know what I mean, try to, yeah. Black Lives Matter actually go and try to save the community out there. I've never seen them protest when we kill each other, but they always protest about police officers killing each other. And the argument that I just heard that, well, police officers are supposed to protect and serve people, and I'm like, but so are we. What happened to us like looking after each other and checking each other and responding correctly when it needs it correctly? We get to the point where we're like now in a gray area that we don't respond properly when we see things happen. We call it the game, or it is what it is, or, you know what I'm saying, or don't judge me, or don't do me, or things like that. No, people need to get checked. Everybody needs checked, including me. You know what I'm saying?
And
So it's like, you know, okay, that.
I was going to say an interesting part about it is, you know, people who don't go to the city and planning committees and the council meetings at the you know, level of county, state, city, federal, they sit there and plan how they're going to put us in a situation where they know that we're going to do those exact things. They
That's
deprive us of food. They deprive us of decent housing. They deprive us of jobs. They make sure that so many people get arrested so men can't take care of their families, they can't take care of their children, and it's just a vicious cycle of slavery going over and over and over again. But every 10 years it just elevates to another level, but it's still slavery. And
still
so,
slavery.
yeah, still say, and then when you try to talk to these young men about killing themselves or killing each other, because killing each other is killing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, wow.
Because I love to like talk to young men. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to like go to like the juvie or the juvenile detention center, and I would like teach them photography, and I would also show them my images. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't allowed to show these images, but they was allowed to go to Art Prize and see the images there. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
I would come back and I was talk, but I would give them an opportunity because I wanted to listen and tell me what's going on with you. Like, why are you so angry? And they would like open up because I taught them something, I shared something with them, and they felt that they needed to share with me. So like now being a bus driver also, like I see these kids and I forgot who they were. And oh my God, you the photographer guy, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, word, I'm glad. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, it helps to show us more masculine men, you know what I'm saying, or just men, period, as doing something that there's other ways than just selling drugs or just be on the corner and everything like that. There's other ways and other things to do, you know? So when they see us, they see superheroes and they're able to do that. I told the guy already. Okay, I'm gonna get it. Nah, say on. I told her to give me 15 minutes on my morning. All right, cool. I'm almost done. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
let's go to the next one because I see you being.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is a mother's cry. Like imagine the moment that the mother see their child die. and the pain and the soul coming out of her body. She just left lifeless. You know what I mean? This is one of my favorite pictures, actually. You know?
I need to buy that from you.
No, that one's a one of a kind. You know what I'm saying? You know how I get down.
You need to make a print. You need to make a print of that. You need to make a print.
Right.
If you don't want to sell that one, just do the print. Because when I saw that picture, I saw me a year and a half ago. Because when I was on my way to a funeral, and then when somebody said, "We think your son is dead," and I'm like, "What?" And when I saw him, I was screaming. And my girlfriend said, "I've never heard a scream like that in my life." So when I saw that picture, I was like, "Oh my God, that's me. That's me." And yeah, if you ever make prints, I would love to get one from you.
I got you. But it's like, that's real.
It's real. It's real. And it's happening every hour. It's not just happening every day. It's happening every hour. Our mothers are losing children. I mean, and it at any age now. And then with this COVID going on and the racial thing going on, and it's just
the lynching, it's like I look at like Black people. I see things like in like multiple different ways, right? I just can't see. It's just not one way I can see it. And like when it comes to like, just imagine African people as wildebeest in Africa, and they just mind their business and they just living amongst each other, and they feeding their children and everything. And next thing you know, you'll see like just one or two like leopards or cheetahs or lions, and they creeping up on them. Let's consider that the police. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
IRS. You know what I'm saying? Different things that can control and enslave the people. They're coming after them. You know what I'm saying? But it's always like one or two, not a lot. And then they say, you know what, the wildebeest say, you know what? Well, we're gonna jump in the water because they can't come over here and mess with us. But in the water, there's the alligators. And now they're getting snatched up. So imagine that's the negative aspect of the Black culture. You know what I'm saying? The
right.
niggas, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and the lower level of self. And you're torn in between that. But as you're trying to escape, everybody has their own way of going through things. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's one. Nobody's together. You know what I'm saying? And they run and they scatter for their own safety. And who gets caught in that mix? The young. The young's are the ones that always get eat up. You know? And it's like, you know, we don't have a sense of organization. I'm still trying to figure it out because everybody has a core belief or a core condition that we go by, and we're trying to implement that, but we don't know how to connect the dots to make it one big universe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we do, but man is greedy. So go ahead.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We're greedy and we'll sell each other out. A lot of people will sell each other out for $1. You know what I mean? But it's we got it. It just is something. It's just one thing, and they try to manipulate through media to make sure that you never see that one thing. Because even what, like, I could look at it as, you know what I'm saying, at one aspect of how everybody's screaming Black Lives Matter and they're protesting and everything like that. Then I look at it as, okay, there's just white people trying to hide. So now they're switching, they're being chameleons, and they're trying to hide the fact that they were racist just like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? So now they're saying I always like the Black people. You know what I mean? But then you got, like, you know, even people that's actually legitimately, you know what I'm saying, different cultures that legitimately believe, like, you know what, time's up. We gotta do something to change. But on the same token, you're taking away our voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's saturating and with the riots that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took away our voice because we was organized, and it got, and like, especially in Grand Rapids, it got infiltrated. And it was just white people that was actually destroying the city. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't us.
Here. Same thing
here. It wasn't us. And it's like these militias that's out here that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so it suffocated our voice to the point I couldn't even breathe with looking at it. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
I can't
So
breathe now.
right. So it's like, you know, we really have to sit down. We have to heal first. And that's what my journey's been, like healing with me first, healing with my family. And then outside of the world, just trying to heal, like people that I had disagreements with or whatever like that. Like, you know, it's not necessary. We got to heal because we have to learn how to have love and loyalty towards each other. You know what I'm saying? We have to like try to develop a code that we could teach our children. You know what I'm saying? We have to like try to learn how to detach from the system. You know what I'm saying? Just in case the system shut down again, that we have a way to communicate. Because as we've seen all this happen, and this is just the beginning, you know what I mean, of separation and creating more of an individualistic society, you know? And dualism is the enemy. I mean, oneness is the key. And we have to be oneness and connected to God. If we're not connected to God, because we already the attachment of God and trying to separate that. As you
That's
see,
right.
when we was locked, I'm sorry, and then another thing, as you see, we was locked up, the earth was healing itself. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
trying to tell you, chill out, sit your butt home, you know what I'm saying? And chill out so I can heal. And you never know. Like some people say that the COVID was man-made, and I mean that's one way you could look at it. Or you could think that the earth is just really trying to heal itself and trying to get rid of the cancer. So allow it to get rid of the cancer. You know what I mean? That's killing it. Because it's not us.
No, it's not us. It never
You
has
know what I
been
mean?
us. It never
Right.
has been us.
It's never been
So,
us.
do you have any? Was that the last picture?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure.
I want to ask like maybe three more questions, and then maybe
Okay.
two more questions, and then if there's anybody on, then they can if they want to ask you a question, they can. I want to
Okay.
I want to know if the process for you is as equal as the end result. Like which one affects you more, the process or the end result, or both of them?
That's an interesting question. The process could be very tiresome. Um, just to get all these people to actually agree to actually be in these images. Then to get them to be at location and to shoot and be ready to shoot, because you can't shoot no longer than 5 minutes because it's going to cause chaos because people seeing it in real time. You know what I'm saying? Almost got shot doing one of my shoots, so that's a whole different another story. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Like,
wow, wow.
yeah, almost got shot by the cops doing that shoot. You know what I'm saying? My
Oh my
first shot,
God.
because I didn't know, I didn't make them aware, so they had the right to do that because I was bloody with a fake gun in my hand. So yeah, they didn't know what's up. So yeah,
And
they're gonna
thank
act
God you're still here to talk about it.
right. And
Hello.
but doing like being in the archives and being there 8 hours a day, like explaining the story to like thousands of people, and then it shuts off when the competition is done. It shuts off. Now you got to go back to reality. That's a draining situation. Um, so yeah, the process to the end result is all draining, and it was like I had to chill. You know what I'm saying, for a while because my body was just I was just going to too much. You know what I'm saying, just trying to get people to hear me. You know what I'm saying, or
Mhm.
look at the images and feel the images and stuff. Or I mean, people were angry. People didn't understand because they came exactly how they left the house, so they didn't know what they were looking at. They thought it was real. They thought they felt that it was horrible for me to come out and do this. Some people didn't think that it was art. You know what I mean? And art is supposed to move you. You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to chill. Like I see, like especially in big competitions, everybody making cool, colorful things. Yeah, and it's like beautiful. You know what I mean? Cute, cuddly, and complacent. That's what they like. No, I want you to think. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
American history that I'm showing you. I'm capturing exactly like, you know what I'm saying? I want new beings to see my work and say and try to decode it and be wrong, or just go code it and look at it from their level of understanding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these are artifacts that I try to, you know, keep uniquely, you know what I'm saying, there. I wanna start getting back out there though, you know what I'm saying, and pushing my imagery to different states because nobody really knows about this series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
think you should too. And I would
I
love to
think
be
I think it's
introduced.
time. I had to, like I said, I had to chill out. You know what I'm saying? Because it was really it was taking me away from my family and everything like that. Because I was kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and to be and I'm not an elite leader. I'm just a messenger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But it's so apropos for right now. Maybe they
yeah,
couldn't, maybe you were ahead of your time, but now the
that's it.
time is right. Yeah. So,
That's what my people were telling me. Like they would say, "You
yeah,
was ahead of your time,
yeah,
bro." Like you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I be looking like, man, now y'all get it. You know what I'm saying? I've
yeah,
been trying to tell
yeah,
y'all this stuff.
yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely,
mean? So
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
So let me ask you, is there anything that you are afraid of in terms of style, in terms of subject, in terms of media? Is there anything like, okay, I'm not doing that? Is there anything, or you just kind of, it has uh, this has a, 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 a value, a lesson to be taught, to be learned. People need to see this. This is instrumental in the lives of not only melanated people but also non-melanated people. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything that you like? Okay, I'm not doing that.
It's a thin line between telling the story and just being an asshole.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had to like literally like check myself on a certain thing because the shit that go in my head, I'll be like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to put it out there. Sometimes I just want to be mean, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, I still got to be responsible. So like it's a thin line between that. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I originally I had to literally tap in before I push it out. And if I check myself and myself says nah, chill, you know what I mean? Then I chill.
So does that mean you're not totally being true to yourself as an artist because you have to be
No,
concerned about?
no, no. It's not about being concerned about it. It's just that I do value the story, but the story has to be right and exact. It can't be. It has to be because, like, when you look at the image, even though you feel some way, you know that it's true. So you can't really say anything but take in the information. And if I just be like a straight wild child, what I'm not. I mean, it's times I'd be afraid to be that. You know what I'm saying? But now being an artist, like being a painter, I've learned now like to tap out of that particular level of fear. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to make sure that it's original and it's unique. I don't want it to be like what is it called when you typecast? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my information that I'm putting out there, like like okay, now I'm just fucking with people. It got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm just fucking with people now. And it's about not. I'm not about fucking with people. It's about really getting this information right and exact. And if it's not coming from that particular point and it's not organic, I don't want to do it.
Okay, I have two more questions for you, and then I want you to tell people how they can get in touch with you,
Mm,
how they want to see your work or buy your work or anything like that, because this is going to be showing forever. Because
cool.
I'm going to put this on YouTube. And so this
Okay.
interview is going to be on YouTube, and then people are going to be able to see it. And they might not get in touch with you today, and they might not get in touch with you tomorrow. It might be a couple of months from now. So the next
Okay.
question that I would want to ask you is, what would you tell your younger self?
Be an artist. You know, like when you used to draw like the Punisher and the Simpsons on your wall, that was your calling. You just never saw it. You just never understood it. Nobody embraced it properly. You know what I'm saying? So be an artist. Um,
So that's
it's
what you used to
okay.
do?
It's okay to make mistakes. Um, you have to learn from your mistakes, but just know that you're not a mistake.
Yes, that's very true. Everybody needs to hear that. You are not a
Uh,
mistake. You are here on purpose, for a purpose.
you're here for a purpose, definitely.
Absolutely.
Um, that's it so far. I don't know. I don't know. I'm already, my younger self is my son. You know what I'm saying? So I can't go back. I mean, I can't go back in time, not yet. You know what I'm saying? But I could visually go back in time, but I can't physically go back in time. But my son right now, he's the mimic of me. You know what I mean? And I watch him do the mistakes, so I can never get mad at him because I'm like, dude, I did the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
do.
so
I know exactly what
all I
you're
could do
saying.
is, all I could do is just tell him that. Yeah, you got another question? Because I really got to get ready to
I
go.
do.
I
I
may
have
be
one
way
more
too long.
question. If you were not doing art, what would you be doing?
Damn. Why you ask me that?
Because it's
I
one of
don't
my
know.
questions. It's a good question, huh?
If I had made it in the police department, being a police officer, then I guess I've been a police officer.
Really? So that's what you would have wanted to do, or you would
Well,
have done that
no. You know
because
what?
it would have
I
just
did that.
happened?
I did that because somebody suggested that I should try it because I didn't know who I was. So I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'll try it, and I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't work out at the end. But I
Okay.
think it was something else that went on with that as well. I don't think they thought I was the good old boy that they needed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I kind of think that's what it was. But can't prove it though. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'll be doing. I can't now that I embrace me in that fashion. I wish I would have went to college because I'm all self-taught, you know what I'm saying? So I wish I went to school to really learn, you know what I mean? But then it wouldn't be my way, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm learning from other people, you know what I mean? So yeah, I've been an artist. I think that's where I always meant to be.
I think that's where you are supposed to be too. And Monroe Akiban O'Brien, I want to say thank you for spending this time with me, and
Thank you for
thank you for
having me.
being real. Oh, I love you.
I
You
love
are
you
like
too, mama.
you are one of my faves, and so
Mm-hmm.
every chance I get to bring you into something, you gonna be there. And so
Thank you,
I
mama.
just
I
want to
appreciate it. I'll be there for you.
Okay, I appreciate you for saying that. So I want you to know that it was a pleasure talking to you. There's so much more I would love to speak to you about. I mean, we can almost do 5 parts with you, and I still would not get tired because you have so much, and because you're so organic and you're so fascinating to be able to tell the truth. And so is there a website, or first of all, I want to let people know if they want to know anything about you, or walk in the park, you can look him up on Google. He's there. If you want to know about him, uh, with the exhibition for Art Prize, you can go to artprize.org. He's there. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you about your work, what do they need to do?
You can email me at
Give it to him. AKI.
AKIBANG. Yep. Aki
Say it
Bang.
again. AKI.
AKIBANG
Uh-huh.
76 at yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com. Is there a number you would like to give them, or they can just reach you by email?
Reach me by email, please.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
you can go on Facebook and inbox me on Facebook, or you can go on the Instagram and a Fearless Brother Project on Instagram.
And do you have prints for sale?
Yeah, I have prints for sale. Yep.
Okay, so if anybody is looking to buy a print, if anybody is looking to commission him, if anybody is looking for him to come in and speak to young people, if anybody is looking for him to come in and talk about the racial injustices through his work, you can reach him at AKIBANG76 at yahoo.com, or Facebook him at Monroe A O'Brien and
Correct.
message him. I thank you so much. Peace and blessings to you.
Peace and
And
blessings to you, mama.
okay.
Shout out to Brooklyn, go hard.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely right. So I want to say
Right.
good night, and I
Good
will.
night, man.
You know what? I know you got to go. That's why I was rushing. But is there anybody still on? Juanita, I want to know, does she have a question to ask you? Can you answer one
Yeah, I can
question
answer
from the
real quick. Yep.
audience? Okay.
Yep.
Juanita, can you unmute yourself? Would you like to ask Miss O'Brien a question? She's muted. Would you like to ask Mr. O'Brien a question?
Yes, I just want to know, do you plan to travel and maybe do, like maybe in like coffee shops, you know how they do poems and speak spoken word, where while they're doing the spoken word, you have your artwork there? Do you plan to do things like that where you travel around and doing that?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first travel was the Obscenia Art Institute in Minneapolis. That was my first place that I've traveled. So now, I mean, I would like to travel more. I mean, where are you calling from?
Atlanta.
I would love to come to Atlanta.
Okay.
I would love to come to Atlanta and show my work. Please get in contact with me. We could talk about that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just give me email or inbox me on Facebook. Add me as a friend, and I can we can kick it on that and talk about that. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Great work. Mhm.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'm going to say good night. And it was a pleasure. Peace and blessings. And I will speak to you soon.
All right. Let's tell them a story of Fearless Brother Project. Thank you so much. I keep begging them out.
Okay. Fearless Brother Project.